Hey everyone, welcome back to the Science of CBD podcast. This is the last of the mini series that we are featuring with expert hemp CBD, internationally recognized expert Carl Germano. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Check out Carl's book, Road to Ananda. It's everything about the endocannabinoid system, so it's a lot of the stuff that we've covered in this mini series and so much more. You can go to roadtoananda.com and we'll be sure to have the link in our comment section, so check that out. So as we've been filming these several podcasts in our mini-series, we've had some questions that have come in from some of the people that are watching. So a couple questions, Carl. Synthetic cannabinoids, I know people are hearing about, what are synthetic cannabinoids? Are they safe? Do they work? What's just the deal with them? Is it something that we should be looking for as consumers? And then another question is, what are you most inspired by or interested in, or what keeps you up at night in the world of hemp and CBD?
Yeah, well, when it comes to any of compounds, this industry always gets plagued by the synthetic companies out there, whether it be here in the U.S. or abroad. We do have a concern about synthetic cannabinoids. As I had mentioned in previous podcasts.
Can you just define synthetic for us too?
Yeah, well, look,
something that's made in a lab.
It is synthesized in the laboratory using potentially artificial ingredients or chemical ingredients, I should say. That is not where this industry is. That's not how we practice botanical medicine, and hemp is one of the most important botanicals that we have on this planet. And so following the traditional herbalist viewpoint is that we need the full family of compounds in there. And there's not just phytocannabinoids in the plant. There are terpenes and other cofactors that feed into this important, what we call entourage effect. It was beautifully written up by Dr. Ethan Russo in the British Journal of Pharmacology, and talks about how you truly benefit from hemp. You need the terpenes, you need the phytocannabinoids to give rise to full clinical meaningful benefit. When you start to target and isolate one compound, which has been the mainstay of Western medicine, there's always something lost in the process in terms of clinical benefit. And this has been seen in a couple of interesting trials where looking at full spectrum hemp products versus isolated CBD. Clinical outcome is always better with full spectrum material when you have the family around. But there are dangers to synthetics. You don't really know what you're getting or what were the initial compounds used to produce the materials. And from a clinical standpoint, it's not as anywhere near important as the full plant. Secondly, these are drugs. We're talking about, and this is something the marijuana people don't understand. There's a federal law called the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, which says if a compound wasn't in commerce prior to 1994, it's not grandfathered as a supplement, and you have to put it in a new dietary ingredient application. Well, if you had to do that with CBD today by isolating it, you'd have another issue, because part of that law also says if Big Pharma takes a natural ingredient and makes a drug from it, hands off to the dietary supplement industry. So now you have CBD with two strikes against it. It wasn't in commerce prior to 1994, and it's into drugs as an isolated compound. We don't have to go there. It's totally unnecessary. From a legal standpoint, it's risky, and from a clinical standpoint, it's not as effective as the full plant.
Okay, very helpful. So stay away from them.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What keeps me
what
awake
keeps you up at night?
As I had mentioned in previous podcasts, we are in our fetal stages of understanding the endocannabinoid system and its potential in the human body in both health and disease conditions. But one of the most fascinating areas for me is some of the preliminary work that's been done to show that how the endocannabinoid system controls consciousness. So while I've talked about how the ECS is involved in pain, inflammation, stress, anxiety, insomnia, ocular health, bone health, inflammatory conditions, neurological conditions, controlling consciousness is just a fascinating subject for me. I mean, you could look at classical viewpoints or scientists' viewpoints of what is consciousness, but our perceptions, our feelings, everything out there that touches us is controlled in one way, shape, or form by the endocannabinoid system in the brain in terms of our perceptions, our thoughts, our feelings. ECS is all involved with that. So it's really, the ECS is an internal reflection of who you really are, and it is very much part of our consciousness.
Wow. That's incredible. Hopefully we learn a lot more about that. It's going to keep me up at night now thinking about that. So thank you so much for joining us. This was awesome. We really got a lot deeper in cannabinoids, the endocannabinoid system, some of the legalities around CBD than we have thus far. So it's really great to be able to have you in front of us and ask you all the questions that we have.
Thank you, Suzanne. It was a pleasure to be here.
Definitely. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in to the Science of CBD podcast. Go to twinlabcbd.com. Any questions that you have, we want to hear from you. If you have anything specific for Carl, let us know, and we will reach out to him and get answers back to you. Thanks, guys. See you soon.